So let's get the biggest frequently asked question out of the way. If I post about you on my account, either in stories or a post, every time we go somewhere, it's always, where does all the food go? So I kind of know your routine a little bit, but for those that don't know, if you could go into that.
It goes for any food goes. It goes in my stomach. Like my stomach literally stretches out. I'm almost pregnant every time I do a food challenge. Phil's seen it up close. Like before and after, it really looks like I just got pregnant every time with a food baby. It's crazy.
Right, but you're petite. I mean, what's the workout regimen like?
I do at least a 5K run every day, and then I walk at least another hour or two or so. Let's see. This morning, check my health. How many steps did I do already today? See, this is why I like iPhone. It keeps track of everything. I did 14,000 steps today already.
14,000 steps?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm at 468. Okay. I got to pick it up after this. So, very cool. And then I was going through some of your older videos and seeing the progression from your first one over 10 years ago when you were making a cheese omelet to all the amazing stuff you're doing now. When did all this finally hit you that this was like resonating with people beyond just, your circle?
It might sound dorky, but whenever I was little, I've always just had the dream of I want to be famous. Like I really liked pleasing people. Like I want to make people happy. So you saw me make a cheese omelet is because I was really, really into cooking. So in high school, I did a lot of culinary arts stuff, and I tried to teach a lot of people about culinary arts. And I would cook a lot of food at home in high school and bring it to I hosted the culinary arts club, and I would try to feed as much people as possible. And then in my family, showing people that you care and make people happy is to give them food. So that's why I want to give everybody food. So I've always been dealing with food stuff. And then you also see on my channel too, I did a lot of gaming stuff as well. So I tried to get into Twitch streaming, and at one point I tried to do modeling and singing too. But, these are all, I feel very basic, saturated. It's not very that unique, right? And then all of a sudden, when I was a chef at Benihana, I was sitting down with some employees, and then they were like, "Oh my God, Raina, you eat so much," right? And then I was like, "Oh, really?" Because I always thought the amount I ate was normal, but I've eaten quite a bit all my life. It's just the way I was raised because my parents would shove all the food at me. So then they told me to go do a food challenge, and I'm like, "What is that?" Right? And I've never heard of this. And then my mind was so bamboozled when I was, you're telling me that restaurants are giving food for free just because I eat a lot? I can eat a lot. So I was mind blown. So I went to my first ever food challenge. It was about a 4-pound burrito. And then I recorded myself doing it, and I finished this 4-pound burrito within 6 minutes. So that was my first ever food ever. And that video blew up. And I was like, yeah, I was so confused. People like to watch me eat? And I eat a lot. Is that weird? So I just kept going around local restaurants, and I was like, oh my God, it's actually a thing. I could get all this food for free just because I can eat a lot. So I kept doing that. And then, as I started to hustle more through there, I got more into social media, the Instagram influencing, other platforms. And I just learned social media through that. And I was like, you know what? This is my niche. I'm going to use it. And that's how I ended up where I am today. I just kept working at what worked out for me. And I'm just very grateful I found, such a unique thing for me to work with. And that this makes me distinctive from other people.
Oh, totally. Yeah. So with YouTube as your main outlet, how do you manage everything by yourself, from the posts to all the DMs on all the platforms?
I personally don't manage all the DMs. I have Instagram DMs I manage, but I think a lot of the Facebook page DMs, I have some moderators for that. But I think that's as much help as I get. But I don't know. I think it just you just progressively learn, I always like to, do self-learning, all the stuff, I learned from asking people and grasping it on myself and learning how to do everything on my own. So I know how to manage everything because, people like me for the way I am. So if I hire somebody to do edit my videos or whatnot, I feel like it kind of changes the style. You know, like if you see like the beginning videos to now, you definitely see like editing wise, personality wise, or like style, it definitely evolved. But it's because, you know, I'm constantly looking at the comments and like seeing what people like and, you know, what really resonates with my personality, because I can always hire like a top fresh studio maker or whatever. But then I feel like you lose the personable effect with that, right? You know, mine is, I'm not professional at all. You know, it's very just like vlogging. It's very just whatever. It's not professional, but I think people like that because they see that I'm just a normal girl who loves food, who somewhat can eat a lot, right? Somehow I can eat a lot, but they can relate to me better that way. So when I meet people, I just like, come out as more friendly rather than just like some really professional person they're like afraid to approach. That's why I like creating my tours and my events where I'm just like, you know, come out, come hang out with me, watch me eat it, we can talk afterwards. So that's why I like to, because the fans are ultimately what makes me me, you know, like I'm nowhere without them. So I really want to show that I'm just a person that just likes to hang out and eat food.
Yeah, and I feel like in your videos, it's kind of like just going along with you on the ride. They could be just walking next to you, and you could be just talking to them like that. And I think that that connection is what resonates a ton.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in my mind, you're basically a rock star. Like you mentioned before, you set up tours in regions of the U.S. You were up in the Northwest. You were in what? You were in Utah,
Mm-hmm.
meets and greets, selling merchandise. Do you love the road?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, like when I tell people like last December I drove all the way to Miami, they just get mind blown, right? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I enjoy it. Like I never minded driving and, you know, just chilling, cruising down the highway, looking at the scenery, and I go on all the hikes. You know, I just love nature. Like I don't mind it. And then like the travel, the journey of like going to all these different states and experiencing the different cultures, like that's what I really love. You know, like I can always fly somewhere. Yeah, that's easy. But like I kind of miss like the experience. You know, like it's not going to the top of the mountain; it's the climb to the top of the mountain. That's how I kind of see it. You know.
Yeah, the whole kind of life journey and everything in between. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
When did you start doing road trips like this?
I think I really picked up the pace last year, you know, when with COVID being down. Before that, I did more international. You know, that's why I really wanted more international. But since you couldn't really travel international with the COVID, I was like, you know what? Let's look at the different states. You know, I'm bored, right? I gotta get out of California. It's so stale. My content was getting like, you know, everything was done in my backyard, and I was like, I don't even want to do these videos because it just felt so boring. I was just going to fast food, getting as many like McDonald's burgers or something, see how many I can eat. And I was just like, that's just so boring. You know, there's nothing to it. And I heard that, you know, the South, we all know, was more open during COVID, and then I'm like, you know what? We're going there. The restaurants are open. You know, I'm gonna go do some food challenges and get some exploration there, and I just fell in love with it. You know, I just yeah, now I'm addicted. Like if I stay home for too long, I just get bored.
And that paid off in spades because I mean, I remember seeing some of the videos where there's just a ton of fans there that just showed up.
Yeah.
That must have been surprising to you initially.
Oh yeah. Even recently, my Idaho and Utah tour, I was like, I didn't know I had this many Idaho fans, because I'm like, for me, Idaho is kind of like a middle of nowhere state. So I was like, why is there so many people that knows me here? It was great.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. So I don't know many people with 2 million followers on TikTok. Has that opened up a bunch of new avenues for you? And what's that been like? Has it been?
It definitely spread my popularity, and honestly, that all happened just because of luck. I'm very grateful, but it was just the constant hustling of posting out videos that really like bumped it up. But I think that spiked when I went on the Florida tour I was talking about, and then, you know, I just posted all those videos up there, and all of them did fairly well. And then I don't know, it just somehow spiked. A few videos got viral, and all of a sudden, I just got so many followers. And then when I was in Florida, I was known as TikTok girl. You know, I was
Really?
like, yeah, I was like, before they would know me through YouTube or Facebook, but then I saw some people like see me set up and just walking by the beaches and like, hey, you're the TikTok girl. I'm like, okay, hi. You know, I was like, all right, that's pretty cool.
That's interesting. So, I mean, YouTube is still your baby, right? That's what you call home as far as for social media platforms, or?
You know, funny enough, I'm most comfortable with Instagram because like, I actually talk to people on Instagram. You know, I think I spent the most time. Right, because I'm always looking at pictures, I'm always posting. I think that's the most time consuming. YouTube and Facebook, I can always set it up. TikTok, I can just post, you know, like, but TikTok doesn't have like DMs and stuff really. So I think Instagram is still the one I use the most.
Yeah. So do you think if TikTok offered stories and DMs, that's the only thing?
I don't know. I mean, well, TikToks, I don't really like respond. I don't really communicate through TikTok.
Right.
I just like watching stuff, because it's so easy to get addicted and go in a rabbit hole on TikTok.
I know.
But I mean, every platform has its like own purpose. Like YouTube, for me, I use it for music all the time. But I don't really. Yeah, I guess I'm like those youngsters. I don't like sitting there and watching a video for so long. I prefer the TikTok, like it's so fast and it's interesting to get the information right away. But yeah, I like Instagram the most, I think. Yeah.
Cool. Do you consider what you do an art form? Because from my perspective, like this whole thing is kind of like your way of expressing yourself that goes beyond just this as a job. That's just the way I see it. But what do you think?
I definitely think so. It's a way of expressing who I am. It's definitely something you have to be very creative in. And I think that goes for all social media or content creators for social media, because like you got to find out what works. Otherwise, like everybody's trying to get into it, because it's fun. It's really expressive. There's no rules to define what is good, what is bad. Like I was saying, like, I'm not professional at all. I have so many flaws, so many typos in my videos, whatever, right? It's not professional work at all, but, people like it because it's so relatable. And then, it's just like, it's so unique because, it's like, it's me. It's not like I'm not some top-notch editor or top-notch designer, but, they see who I am through my videos. And yeah, it's definitely a form of art through that, in that sense.
And then let's talk about Vegas a bit. We met last summer, and you've been picking up the visits, which I love to see. You going to places that I've been and things like that. What do you like about Vegas when you come out?
Man, there's so many things. Vegas is just so fun. Like it's just. I don't know. People don't really think of it that way, but I just think it's a great, like, small community, like, out there when you, like, get to know the people. Vegas locals, they all just seem to know each other. They're so friendly and so willing to help each other. And, of course, like, the vibe is so exciting. The Strip is always a great place to walk. I know as a Vegas local, like, it just, I've asked a few Vegas locals. They don't really care too much about the Strip, but of course, for me, it's still, like, amazing. It's I go there all the time, go walk, go see the lights. And of course the food, the buffets, and I don't know, Vegas is also like another place where it's just like non-stop ending content too, because like, of course there's so many like celebrity restaurants out there. I always want to try that. But then I also love showing the off-strip stuff, people who want to just explore the city and help out the local restaurants. Like, not many people understand that. That's who I love to help too, because, there's a lot of amazing food off the Strip that people don't know about, a little bit drive off, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff about Vegas. It's just so fun. I personally don't gamble and drink at all too. So like that's a whole nother part to it. But like I don't need that for Vegas to be fun. It's just in itself, it's just such a fun place to be, and I love the hot weather.
And then I've personally can attest to the impact that you've made on local restaurants when the YouTube video goes up or when the TikTok goes up. I mean,
really?
just for my clients, like I know when you've come in, the owners let me know.
Nice.
And customers know, and it's awesome. I love that you cover so much area. It's not just LA, it's not just Vegas, it's all over the country, and I think it's super cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. There are thousands of restaurants that would love to have you at their place. What's the best way to even go about reaching out to you? I mean, what is your preferred way of being reached out to?
Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram. Yeah, that's where I respond the most. I personally hate emails. Just because like emails, you don't really get to like. I don't know. Either the email platform is just like it gets all messed up, and then you don't know which one. It's not instant. Right. And the Instagram, I can see like which restaurant like we need to work out, and I can respond. And like Instagram has a profile. I'm like, oh, who am I talking to again? Sometimes in emails, they don't have a signature, if they're not as professional. I have like, where is this restaurant located? What is it? And then, if like somebody reaches out to me on email and I have to look up who they are, what kind of food do you serve? Instagram, just go on their profile. I was like, oh, I see immediately what type of restaurant they are, what the vibe is, what I can do for them. And yeah, that's why I like Instagram.
Okay. Yeah. Less work and easier access to all that stuff.
I know it's less professional, but I mean, like, we're just using the tools we have to make it like simple, right? Like I don't mind, like just easy to text instantly on Instagram.
Yeah.